Hi, Aquarius. A different morning led me to this reading. We're in the middle of Cancer season. We're in the middle of understanding why maybe you have felt strongly about something important to you. There is a slough of emotion change coming off of you now. The beauty in it is that you have the power to create a different view for yourself. You have the power to feel in control of maybe not the timing, but more of your response and how you create from this place, how you move forward from this place. Sometimes we don't realize something is, because it's been so grounded or so good up until this point, why something is no longer good for us anymore, why no longer something works anymore. And usually it has to do with feeling some kind of stuck in your life. It could like take away from your life to a certain extent. Usually that's, your attention somewhere, because that's really all we're doing is paying attention. We're paying for whatever we choose to pay attention to or not, and vice versa, all the time. I'm pruning my plant while I do this. We're choosing to respond or not all the time. We're choosing to take accountability or not all the time. All the time we're doing these things that are very human, very important to us as a humanness. And we're doing what we think we're supposed to be doing, or whatever we learned, or whatever your reason for having this stuckness, this whole like skin coming off of you now. Maybe it's Saturn being in your sign, revealing who you really are. Because we all get to this point in our lives where, you could choose to keep pretending to be all these things that culture has asked of you, or you become yourself. Your culture, family, these people around you, or you can become yourself and become more of yourself and show more of maybe who doesn't or what doesn't fit or work, why you feel like you can't maybe breathe sometimes, and I know that might hit some people. Coming from an air sign, you may have wondered and maybe seen how Geminis work so clearly this month that it shows you how much you don't work like them. However, you do what you need to do. You do what you can do. And there's not so much of a mediator like Libra, but there's a mediator inside of you. And when you learn what you're capable of and what you can do, what you choose not to do, and then what you so clearly want to do, and more of you are more than likely, especially the rising signs, may find yourself very diligent at this. Like whatever keeps coming back, whatever keeps showing up in your life, it's either take care of it or go with it. Sometimes the most positive things stick with us because that's like the road, but we're ignoring the road, or we don't want it to be our road, or it requires too much change of yourself and sacrifice for a new person or a new version or a new job or a new location, and you don't want to do anything you don't want to do. And then you also have this tinge of, but I want to keep doing this, but if I keep doing this, I can't do that. And it's true. At some point, your fixed nature has to take a shift. And you can agree with it or discuss it as much as you can, much as you want to, but ultimately, regardless if you're in alignment or not, life will redirect you, wanting you to be in that alignment. You feel like you've worked really hard, and there's a part of you that wants to see more fruition, and you will. Hold on 1 second. You will see that fruition. You will have not worked for nothing, but it will require either a sacrifice or a change and this commitment of yourself to some extent. And you can do that. You can make that change. You can make that shift. It's interesting because a lot of the plants I get, especially if I receive them from other people, I find that there's a lot of them, certain ones die and then come back to life. And I don't know if it's just where they're at in their cycle, but it somehow feels like my energy that's showing up in my plants. So if you take a look at life around you and what it's been showing you up until this point, it's probably shown you a lot of restructuring of different things, which causes you to feel like you're always in that, but you only have these certain things that you attach yourself to. And some of them are it's more about our ego. It's more about what makes you feel like you're in control. However, you're always in this relationship, this dynamic with the divine or God. You're constantly in this conversation, acting, speaking, thinking. And once you become aware of that, there's kind of no way out. There's no way around it. You can pretend or choose to believe something else, and that's fine. And this, you're going to understand when I say this, 'cause I'm saying it just like you. But however, it's still real. It's like you can turn off the news. You could turn off your phone. You could turn off all the things around you. Yet the things that reveal on there are somewhat real in your life around you. So what's real for you is how diligent something is connecting with you, whether you're completely aware of it or not. Something very fast wants to come in and change things. You're ready. You'll feel the moment when you're ready, whether it's a positive or a negative thing that gets you there. You're going to feel the moment when you're ready, because you're going to feel, after it happens, the weight will fall off your shoulders and you will feel like, okay, I've worked this hard every day for this. I'm going to continue and take it step by step. But this is the next step, and maybe you weren't expecting it to be so abrupt, but here it is. At the end of the month, it's basically like, hey, you've worked really hard. And Saturn's still like, you learn to have fun while doing it. You learn to be yourself while doing it. You learn to let go while doing it. And that is a big feat. And that's my way of saying this is what the cards and like the planets to me are like saying, hey, this is your confirmation. It doesn't always align like this. This is your confirmation. This is your chance. This is your moment. This is for you. This is for no one else. For your life, what you're capable of, what you're made of. It all comes out more. And it comes out through your values, what you choose to do, what you're choosing, and who you're choosing to become, and how that is and relates to maybe the karma that you're getting this month, the return for taking the risk on yourself, for changing, for noticing where you're stuck and how powerful it is to take accountability, acknowledge it, and then move forward, even if it took you like a little while, maybe 4, 5, 9 years. I know it's not funny, but there's a lot of times it takes the time it takes. You need to learn the way you've learned to learn, the way that life has learned to teach you, and you have to become conscious enough to change that. To also change, like, this is just not how I learn, by making different decisions. You can't always escape the situation you're in, but any way that you can control it is which is important. And that's where you're at right now. You find a strong connection, strong control, strong opinions, strong beliefs, strong to the core. You feel like your awareness is there as well. And you're able to find a lot of truth in it all. You're letting yourself transform and see yourself, and it's possible that there are Queen of Wands, Queen of Swords, people around to help and guide as well. This could be you, but it could also be people around who want nothing but to support you, but don't know how to show you, because you've only learned a certain way and now you're changing. And as long as you have the conversation and communicate, I mean, I don't see why there can't be some understanding. You may find that communication is easy. For some of you, for most of you, I think that you'll find that it's a little difficult. And that life in return is a little drastic. Not saying that you chose that, not saying that's always what happens, but sometimes that's the way things happen. When you're at a pinnacle in your life, you have to call upon your angels, but there are drastic moments willing to shift. But there are also moments written for us that do shift rather drastically, especially if you've ignored it. There's some people who are very aware but have ignored things for so long, and then they get caught up in these crazy cycles. But you're putting to rest a huge one. It has to do with maybe a father figure. This King of Pentacles is about you becoming secure within yourself. Also, you putting down whatever doesn't work for you that was put into you, whatever value system, and you're noticing it doesn't work for you. You're noticing, I put all of this work and now I'm ready to let go, release, and find stability within myself and what I want. And in return, it's a maturity. From the Four of Pentacles to the King of Pentacles, where you're looking at your pentacle, just resting your hand on there, knowing that it's yours. You chose that. There's a Libra in your life. They could be very helpful to your confidence right now. They could be someone who's maybe pushing you forward. Maybe it's just about you being pushed forward. Just very much by the justice of the universe. Temperance, Sagittarius in your life. Queen of Wands is a fire sign, right? Or a Leo. There could be a Sagittarius in your life, like encouraging you to take a risk, encouraging you to be very open-minded and swift in change, or an Aries who's also on board. But what they're not responding to is your nature to be silent or be quiet while you're in these changes. Have these moments of focus, you know, not so distracted while it's all happening, not so external. But that is how it is, and you can't control people. So this moment is a big one for you personally. This month is personal, and by the time we get to next season, we'll have a full moon in your sign. So Leo season is kind of asking you some foreshadowing questions. All right, Aquarius? See you next month.